All right, is this thing working? Okay. I haven't streamed in so long, guys. I feel like that it just disappeared. I feel like I haven't streamed for like a year. Let me just text. Is the audio working over here? Mute. It just disappeared. I feel like I haven't streamed for like a year. All right, well, welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you guys are just dropping in. My name is Jonathan. I'm a graphic designer. And I don't know if I'm still getting used to this whole Twitch thing, right? So I always kind of start my videos with a little intro, which I think is somewhat normal on Twitch. But so what we're doing today, or kind of what I've been doing the last kind of like 4 months or so, is I've been live streaming me creating my graphic design portfolio, and it's not on my channel anymore because I actually took like a good solid like 30-day exactly break. From when I finished my portfolio to today. So I was creating my graphic design portfolio as part of like a school assignment, right? I was going to school to get my bachelor's degree in graphic design. And the very last class is you take everything that you've been doing the last 4 years, you pick the very best of it, and you put it into a portfolio. And so that's what I've done. I've finally finished that. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you've probably seen me go through a lot of different variations on creating these freaking chapter openers, which kind of like indicate a new project in my book. I created a website and I created a book. The book is pretty much the main portfolio. Website was kind of mimicking what the book looked like. Still has to look good, obviously, because I'm a designer. But the main kind of like crown jewel of what I've been working on was this portfolio book. And it's a hardcover book. I actually printed it out. It's right there, which I'll show you guys in a second. On that point, no, there it is, right there. And so that's the book that I created. And so if you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys have kind of seen me create all this stuff, and now I want to show you the final product. And I made a video like this on my YouTube channel about 2 years ago when I created something called the Midpoint Review, which was kind of to show my school, am I on track? Am I learning what I'm supposed to be learning? Or am I falling behind? Do I need to revisit some subjects? So I created a tiny little PDF for that. Didn't actually print that out. But I made a video kind of going over my projects at that point. I think only one of those projects actually made it into my final portfolio. These are obviously going to want to put the newer projects, your best projects, which come in your third year and your fourth year. So I'm kind of rambling about that a little bit. I am going to go and show you guys what I've been working on. And I'll show you guys my website first. I'll show you guys my website. So, I didn't do like a drum or anything. I missed that opportunity. So this is pretty much the website that I put together. My name is Jonathan, obviously. So I really wanted my website to kind of have what my name is and then what I'm doing. This is kind of like my little personal brief, personal summary, if you will, kind of who I am and then what I'm trying to get out of a job. But this little paragraph here is also at the very top of my resume. So I just wanted to kind of use this website to navigate to my book because I want to show you guys the book mainly. So this is my website. If you scroll down, you can see some GIFs, some photos, and these are all of my favorite projects. I have 8 projects that I got into my portfolio, as well as some like a little call to action down here, like let's connect if you're wanting to start a new project or like an employment opportunity. Email me. So there's my email. If you guys want to hire me, or you guys want to hire. If you guys want to hire, I guess a hire works both ways. I was going to say, if you want to hire me for like a job or hire me for a project, shoot me an email. So anyways, these are my projects. I have a nice variety of like layout, mobile app design. Here's like a branding class, some package design. I really like package design, and like a typography assignment, more packaging. So lots of cool projects, and you'll get to see more of that in a little bit once I kind of walk through my book. So without further ado, I'll navigate here to my portfolio tab. And so all right, so this is a little plugin from a website called Issue, and what this means is that I can upload my whole book onto a website, and it's pretty much just an ebook. No further explanation needed. It's essentially an ebook. I'll show you though, I do have the physical book, and I guess I'll switch back to the other screen here. All right. So, here it is. It's a book. It's a hardcover book. I used a website called Blurb to print it out. And it's actually a really nice book. There were a couple options when printing this out, and you guys might recall from previous streams that you could use we kind of had the option to use a custom bound book, which means that I would go to a company to print the book, and then I would go to a separate company to actually take that text block of pages, which is just the inside pages, not the actual cover part. And then I would take that to a separate company, and then they would bind it. That gets very expensive very fast, like significantly more expensive than what this book here cost. I got 4 books for I think just under or just over $300, which sounds like a lot at first, and it still kind of is expensive. It comes out to like $98 a book or something like that, and but still very good quality. Looks great. I like it a lot. The pages turned out really nice. I'm trying to like get in front of the camera here. It's like a full-on book here. It's just under 200 pages, I believe. The people that opted to do the hey, thanks for the follow. I can't see your name. It's so small on my screen. Classy, like Bernard, I think is what it said. Yeah, I think that's what it says. Hey, thanks for the follow, anyways. That book. I lost my train of thought. So that my book here was like $98, something like that. If I wanted to go to get my book custom bound, a lot more expensive, like a good $800, $900 for one book. That's nuts. Like, I don't want to be like walking around with this portfolio trying to get a job and then have somebody rip the book. Like, could you imagine them ripping the book and then you have like $800 down the drain, or like somebody with like ketchup on their fingers or something touching your book? Yeah, no thanks. I don't want to have that stress of somebody walking around touching my book and then me just like freaking out about it. So if something happens to this book, yeah, that sucks. That's like $90 down the drain. I could just go to this website, click buy one more, and then it's done. I don't have to go through the whole process of making sure they got the Pantone colors right, or they got the right foils and everything's bound perfectly. So I just opted to do the book that way. It looks perfect. So I will kind of go through the book now and just kind of show you guys what I've been working on the last 15 weeks or so. So I'm sorry if some of it gets cut off a little bit on the bottom left there because of my face. But you guys should kind of get the same, you get pretty much a good idea of the book anyways. So this is the cover. This is a nice little quote. My whole kind of concept was, at the end of the class, right? Like, you take a class, you have a class for a whole semester. The very last day of class, people kind of ask, or your instructor will say, so what was the one thing that you got out of this class? And if I were to take that quote that I would say for every single class, that's the kind of main sort of pull quote that I put into each of these projects. So cover aside, this is just a little blurb on my sort of outlook on design. You can read that if you want. Kind of go back, pause the video if you want to read it. I'm not going to spend so much time on every single page, otherwise I'll be here all night. Here's the cover. Oh, there we go. Might be a little laggy. Just bear with me here. Maybe I'll just blame the lag on your guys' Twitch, huh? I don't even know if it's me lagging or you lagging. Haha. Alright. So again, here's just like another forward page. Here's a dedication. Then copyright information there is on the bottom left. It's getting cut off that you can't see. Here's table of contents. So you can kind of see how this all kind of works together, right? Part of creating a book, a 200-page book at that, you need to establish a visual system and a grid system. So everything's aligning. If you go back to the cover, the table of contents is in the same exact location. The top left there, you can see where it says contents. That's sort of like the title for each page. That stays consistent throughout. And then after we get past this, you'll see the running navigation on the bottom of the page. So what I mean by that is, like, on the bottom of the page here, I don't think my Twitch overlay is covering it, but right above where it says stay connected on your screen, you can see my name. It says selected works, project 1, the name of the project, and then the page numbers. And what that does is it just kind of creates kind of a way for the user to, I mean, like, you see this stuff all the time in books, right? Like, you know that you're always going to find the page number, more or less. You see the title of the book and the title of the chapter. And you kind of ignore that. You don't really realize that it's important until you're reading it. Like if you're trying to figure out what chapter you're in or what page number you're on. It's just a way, like in the name, it's a navigation system. It helps you navigate through the book. Anyways, this is the chapter opener for my first project here. And all the chapter openers follow the same format. There's a quote, big number, title of the project here, as well as the objective and solution. And then down here in the bottom right, there's just like the specs of the class, like what the class name was, who my instructor was, the semester, some keywords, the category of the project. Was it a typography course? Was it a package design, UX, UI? What type of project was it? And then right here, just list the deliverables for the video, for the project as well. So this first project here was a typography assignment that I created, and I'll kind of explain it as I'm going through it. This typography project, it was really rooted in the fact that I like history. I was really intrigued by World War II propaganda and how like a photo of Uncle Sam could really kind of inspire somebody to join the military or do something very sort of life-changing such as that. And how does a poster convince somebody to do that? And this project really kind of, and granted, this is just a school assignment. This wasn't a real thing. But the idea for this project was to kind of look at the principles of graphic design, but from a psychological point of view, and kind of really analyze the manipulative and almost deceptive powers that graphic design can have over somebody. So the name of the project is called Perception Deception. And the perceptive and deceptive nature that design could have almost kind of happens under the radar. You don't really realize it's happening. And a keyword that I pulled from that was invisible. And it's almost kind of like an illusion, I thought. And so I used a lot of these sort of optical illusions throughout the book to kind of convey that. Like you see something, but you're not really sure what's happening or why it's happening that way. And that's kind of having a deceptive nature from the beginning. So the book, sort of the whole project was for a typographic conference, right? And this book would just be like a giveaway. Like, thank you for coming to the conference. We really appreciate it. Here's a cool book. It's on us. Here's a little goodie for you. It's not like a marketing material or anything. And if you saw the very beginning of that book there, the very first thing that you do is take this book out of a sleeve. And when we go back to my website, I have a little GIF on how this kind of works, but this creates a moire effect. The sleeve has a circle with like a die cut, and then circles printed on acetate, and then below that's the actual book, right? So when you take it out, it kind of has this weird optical illusion effect. Very cool. And then, skipped a page. And then actually on the sides of the book, when you bend the pages one way or the other, the title changes, and it's actually printed on the edges of the book. So when you bend it one way, it says perception. You bend it the other way, deception. And then these are just kind of like, it's not to look at every single page in depth. If you wanted to do that, you can look at the issue of this book, actually. Like the actual link for this book. This is just kind of to give an overview of what the project looks like, and then maybe with a couple spreads I'll pop them out big and you can see them. So very sort of illusions, very sort of glitchy, kind of cool feel. The beginning of that book kind of talks about the history of propaganda and sort of like the minds behind it. And then this, I used a sheet of red acetate. It was actually a stage gel that I trimmed to the size of the book. I print and bound this book myself. And what it does is it hides red ink below it. So this spread here happened to be talking about semiotics, which is the study of signs. And I used the red stop sign, and then I had the sheet hiding the red. So when you flip the page, something just appears and you're like, whoa, where the heck did that come from? Another cool spread, and then really part of this whole class, right? So I had all these projects completed already. This graphic design portfolio class that I created this portfolio for was really about how do you take your projects and present them in the best possible way you can. So part of that includes putting your books into mock-ups. So these, I didn't actually photograph my book. That would have been way too complicated to get the exact same shot for 60 plus pages. So it's just easier to use a mock-up. I used a mock-up to create this, and you kind of saw that in some earlier streams if you guys have been watching for a while. And so this class is really just creating a very interesting layout, and then just displaying your projects in a visually appealing way, and then displaying them to make the project look as best as it can be. So here's a page on proportion. Sorry, I'm trying to spend a decent amount of time on each project, but not spending the whole night here going through this book, because I do want to do some other stuff tonight too. I need to update all of my Twitch branding, so I was hoping that I can sneak that into this stream, but I don't know if we'll have time or not, because this is, I think I've already been streaming for what, like 18 minutes, and we're only on the first project. But that's okay though. I don't mind. So, okay, so I created the book there, and then this was a poster that I created too, and this poster here was, I think, like if you were to spread this whole thing out flat, you can kind of see how it folds a little bit. Spreading it out flat, it would be 4 feet wide and 3 feet tall. I believe that's the right dimensions. But what I did was I created this poster kind of like an accordion fold, where you fold it at like 90-degree angles, and depending on which way you look at it, you get a different message. So you guys saw how it looked on the screen before, where you're looking at it dead on. But my idea was to kind of have this hanging up on a wall, and then if you're walking by it at this convention, you would have to see both sides to get the full message. So it says, to see the whole picture, look closely. And it kind of works both ways too. Look closely to see the whole picture. So no matter which way you're reading it, you get the full message. But the idea is that you need to look at something from different angles to get the full message. And then also I created a little mobile app as kind of your ticket into the event. So rather than a printed ticket, you would download this from an email or something like that, and that would be your ticket into the event. Classy like Bernard. Thank you, man. That means a lot. I'm 24. So, and I just finished my bachelor's degree at a school here in San Francisco. So I just got my bachelor's degree. It's actually a BFA, so a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design. And I just finished that up about a month ago. Actually, a month ago to this day. Oh, I forgot about my Italy trip. I was going to say something about that. So I finished school on the 23rd of May. So almost exactly a month ago today. And the next day I went on a trip to Italy for 2 weeks, which is something I've always wanted to do. I had a great time there. My first time out of the country, we got to see all the cool sights. And it was great. It was like my #1 thing on my bucket list, and something came up and I had the opportunity to go. I went there with my fiance, and it was a blast. We had a lot of fun. Got to see the Colosseum, the Pantheon, everything that you kind of read about in art history, which was even cooler because I learned about this in art history, art major, and it was great. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing pictures or not, but that was kind of something I was meaning to say at the beginning of this stream, and I guess I completely forgot about it. Let's see. Amazing work. I'm a graphic designer myself, but found myself stuck in a job that's not very engaging, so a lot of my work is kind of stagnant and outdated. Okay. Looking to change that, updated my branding, you started streaming yourself. Thank you. Well, that's kind of the whole point of me doing this, right? Like, I have a lot of fun watching other designers, and I can just imagine that other people have fun watching me, or at least that's the goal. That's why I'm doing this. And I have fun just looking back at my own videos too. Like, I've been making videos since probably 2009 is when I made my first YouTube channel. And I didn't really start getting into graphics until, I think around that time was when I started getting into graphics too. But I started making graphics videos maybe a year or two after that. And it's been cool to kind of look back at my own videos and see how far I've come. And I have like a Carbon-Made account somewhere. And every once, I don't remember my password or anything, so I can't delete it. So it's just kind of like living there on the internet. And it's got really, really old graphics that I made that just look terrible now. I mean, they're still it's nostalgic, and I get excited about it because I remember kind of the space that I was at when I made it. But it's just not very good anymore. Like, I'm looking at my work now. The stuff that I do as a first round for my projects now that get thrown away immediately would have been something that I would have never thought I'd be able to make 8-9 years ago. Yeah, dude. Streaming, I think, definitely kind of gets you inspired to do something. It makes you, it it definitely makes you, what's the word? Like, I don't know, like you feel like you need to do something because you feel like you have an audience that you need to maintain, or like projects that you're supposed to be doing. And if you start streaming when you're doing something, I find that you stick with it more than you would if you're not, just because you kind of have that sense of reliability, I guess. Dependability. There's a word and I can't think of the word right now. Anyways, you kind of get it. So yeah, I think streaming is a good way to do that. Or maybe people say to make a social commitment, which means that you can post something on social media, tell a few friends, hey, I'm going to do this by this date because I want to achieve this, or something like that. You know, like I'm going to design a website by the end of the month so that way I can improve my coding capabilities, or, you know, something like that, where you're kind of making that public so that way if you don't do it, then you feel like you're letting people down. And that sounds like a bad thing, but it actually helps you stay committed and actually go through with what you want to do. Continue my work. All right, I'll continue. Sorry, got a little sidetracked there. This next project was a package design project that I created for, it was my package design 3 course. So I created this when I was a junior and the third year of design school. And this was pretty much like, I had a lot of fun making this project, like for real. I actually got to meet with the real brewery. This was a local brewery from where I live. And my teacher really wanted us to have like a real world experience, right? Normally in design school, when you come up with a project, you come up with like a fun idea, and then you try to think it the best you can. Oh, who's the target audience for this? And then you just kind of Google like, oh, target audience for a craft beer company. And then whatever you get from that was kind of what you would use for your design brief, which is a document that helps guide you through your design process. For this one, I actually got to go talk to these real people, ask them real questions, get real answers, and really kind of find out what they wanted to do. And I found that they really wanted to kind of take their existing brand and make it appeal to younger people. At the same time, I found through my own research that they needed some brighter color labels. Their labels were like dark colored labels, and when you go to Bevmo and you see what their labels look like on the shelf, the bottle is practically black already, and every other label is black, so everything just kind of disappears. So if you create really bright colors, it would stand up off the shelf. So I'll kind of show you guys what this looks like. So this is kind of the main hero shot of the beer, and I used a very sort of illustrative approach. And I don't know if you guys follow a Twitch streamer called Evan Eckhart. He also makes YouTube videos, but he was nice enough to let me use his bear drawing and his panther drawing over here. I created this devil drawing myself, but since I only had like 6 weeks to create this project, I didn't have enough time to do these custom illustrations in addition to making the package design label. So he was nice enough to let me use his drawing. So shout out to Evan for that. And definitely go check out his stream. He's a great streamer. He doesn't stream too often, but when he does, it's a fun time. So it's even fun just to watch his old YouTube videos too. I think he's got speed drawings for both of these. That's going back like 5 years though, so they're old drawings. And I asked him, hey, can I use them? He's like, yeah, sure, dude. I'm not using them for anything. It'd be nice to see him on something. So he likes that. So kind of going to the next page here. These are some of my early sketches. I wanted to kind of rework their logo mark. That was another issue. They had 3 different logos they were using. One on their beers, one on their coasters, and then a different one on their door. 3 different logos for one company. So this wasn't a branding project, so I didn't really get to go deep dive too much into the logo. But I did enough to make it look a little nicer and make it work for my labels. His name is Evan Eckhart. Here, let me write it. Definitely really cool dude. He actually had a spot on the Adobe live stream sometime last year, and he was streaming, I think like for like a 4-hour segment every Tuesday for like 6 months or something like that. And he had a lot of fun doing that. I had a lot of fun watching him do that. So this is the first label. This was for a imperial stout beer called Cess Noir. And I hope I'm saying that right, but what I did was I created the custom typeface, which kind of mimicked a panther tail. And you can kind of see once you go through the rest of these that they're all kind of following a system. It's one color, big illustration in the middle, name of the beer at the top in like a custom typeface, and then below it, it's the type of beer, but it's in the same typeface on every single bottle. And then even below that, you might not be able to see it at all, but there's like a cool little fun phrase. And then on the back of the beer, it's using a very sort of fun typography layout to kind of describe the beer. A little bit about the brewery. You can see their logo, their website, and then some of this information regarding to like the information that's relevant to the beer, like how much alcohol's in it. The 70 IBUs, it relates to kind of how bitter the beer is, and obviously 22 ounces is how much beer is in there. And then just to kind of be kind of fun and almost a little whimsical with things, I created the barcode in a beer bottle, which is actually, you can actually do that. You have to be careful too, and I think my school's done a great job at doing this, is making sure that the things that you do in your design are realistic. Like, they don't want you to create something that would go into your portfolio, and then when somebody is reviewing your portfolio for a job, they say, you know, that's kind of cool, but there's no way in heck that you're going to be able to do that in the real world. Like, that's not possible. So my school does a good job at preparing you for that and making sure that you're not creating something that would kind of yield that reaction. So, and then also you can kind of see here in the top right, I created a 6-pack and a little coaster and a tasting set for this as well. And it was funny, when I created this for a midpoint assignment, or a midterm assignment. So I had another project in this class, and right after the midterm, I brought this project to the brewery to show them, just kind of like, hey, I know I met with you 6 weeks ago, and I really wanted to show you what I've done in that time. And they loved it. They thought this was the coolest thing ever. And the guy picked up my 6-pack, and this is just a comp, like a little mock-up that I created for class. And granted, it's printed on really nice paper, but he picked it up with all the beer in it, and it ripped. And luckily none of the bottles broke, but I had to recreate the whole 6-pack because I needed to bring this back for the final, so I could display both of my projects side by side. Part of me died on the inside a little bit, but I actually did make a mistake on the 6-pack. This isn't the one I made a mistake on, obviously. But I made the mistake on the first one, and I needed to redo it anyways. So him ripping it only made sure that I wasn't lazy and actually did redo it and didn't just submit the one that had a mistake. Anyways, that's something that, like, I know, but no one else would know if I didn't say it. Here's another bottle. This is for an Imperial Red Light, which is actually kind of ironic that the bottle is blue, but it's for an Imperial Red. My kind of rationale behind that was we needed to create one. This was actually for the assignment. We needed to create one bottle that was a light beer, which is weird for a craft beer assignment, but heck, that was the assignment that I was given. And you can do that by making the bottle blue. Blue and silver, like Bud Light, makes beer look like a light beer. And that's not just copying Bud Light. If you look at any sort of light beer, like a good, like, maybe 8 times out of 10, it's a blue and silver label. And that's just something you kind of figure out after going through it for so long. The next one here was the Sneaky Devil IPA, double IPA. I created this illustration myself. That thing took forever. I wouldn't consider myself an illustrator. This thing here took me some time to create and have it look decent. And then here's a little close-up shot of the coasters again, as well as like a little abstract shot of the kegs that they had at the brewery. And then here's a growler. This is a big sort of refillable bottle that people that drink craft beer fill up, so you can drink more. You can go to the brewery, fill it up, and then you have enough beer to last you the next couple days. And then the white spot there, so that way you can write down what type of beer it is. Because you're not going to brand a growler for every single type of beer. It's something that you kind of bring back and forth, and they rewrite on it what you got. Alright, so then that was the beer project. This next project that I created is called Organic Image, and it was a mobile app design. And okay, so I'm really into photography. I have a lot of fun taking photos, and it's something that I did in high school. I took a digital photography class, and because of that, I was able to kind of pursue photography before going into college, and I would say that I'm better than most people with photography. And I found that a lot of graphic designers do not know how to take photos, especially with like a DSLR. And as a designer, you use a lot of stock photography. But if you don't know how to take your own photos and you're relying on stock photography, a lot of the times you're going to use the same photos as everybody else. And so I wanted to create an app that would help people take better photos for themselves, kind of teach them how to take photos. And I found that like a lot of these photography apps in the market today focus on filters and like doing all these things to sort of fix the photo after you've already taken it. And I wanted to fix that. I wanted to fix your photo before you even hit the photo button. So you can kind of see how I do that with this this brand. I'll get to that in a second. I need to take some water. You can only talk for so long without getting thirsty. All right, so this is the logo that I made for this. It's called Organic Image. Organic Image because it's a photo that is unsort of contaminated by a filter. The idea is kind of like Instagram, right? So if you just think of Instagram without filters, that's essentially what this app is. And so you can take the best photo without editing it. Here's some wireframe sketches. That's actually a photo that I took. Here's some more wireframes created with Balsamiq, which is a wireframe program. And then here's the first screen. This is the home screen. You can kind of see it's kind of a masonry grid structure for the home screen. And then when you click on the photo, this is kind of what it looks like right here. I'm just going to kind of go through this, and I'm not going to go too in depth into this project. Here's a search screen, just because a lot of it's fairly basic, and I was just kind of redesigning the UI. A portfolio screen here, or not portfolio, I mean a profile. Another screen of the search screen. Okay, so this is funny. So these images here are mock-ups, right? Like I didn't actually photograph somebody holding my app, even though I did have like an Envision mock-up on my phone. I bought these images off of like Envato Market, I think is where I got them. I got these three images for like $5. I got this one, and you'll see two more later on, I think. Anyways, so when I got these, it was a blank screen. I just kind of drag and drop my graphic into there, and then boom, it shows up on the photo. If any of you guys have used mockups, that's how they work. But the funny thing is whoever this hand model was had a big freaking wart on their thumb. And okay, if you have a wart, whatever, but don't be a hand model if you have a wart on your thumb. This guy, like right here, had a huge ass wart right on his thumb, and I had to Photoshop it out. That is not something I need to deal with if I'm spending $5 on getting a mock-up. I don't need to be Photoshopping your mock-up. That's what I'm paying for. Anyway, it was worse on another photo too. This here is actually the main function of the app. So when I go to take a photo, these little tip drop downs come down, and it says, do you want to enable tips? And then you click yes. And then it'll be like, before you take the photo, why don't you consider using the rule of thirds? Like, and then it'll tell you like how to position your photo, or if like you're facing the light, it'll say maybe turn the other way to avoid a glare. Just using kind of AI to kind of create these smart tips to kind of come up when you're taking a photo. Here's the website. I think I actually took out those other two images, but it was just funny that guy had a freaking wart on his thumb and he's pretending to be a hand model. Anyways, next project, right? Okay, so this is the one that I was talking about that was in my midpoint. So I created this my second year of design school, and although the typography isn't as good as I would like it to be, and I would kind of go back and fix it if I could, but I mean, I've already printed this book, so kind of no sense in doing it now. I loved how this project came out. I actually have a poster like right over there in my room, hanging up. You guys can't see it, so I don't know why I pointed to it. You'll see it in a second anyways. This project here was to create kind of like marketing collateral for an exhibition. And this exhibition was about, it was for the National Air and Space Museum for an exhibit called Space Exploration Destination Moon. Once again, this is for a school project, so it's not real. Although I wish it could be real. This exhibition comes out, I think, in 2 years, and it would be cool if they like contact me to like want to do their graphics. That'd be sweet. But anyways, my sort of rationale for this project was National Air and Space Museum, going to the moon, right? That kind of happened in the 60s, 70s sort of time. But the museum, this was kind of just me coming up with my own brief. The museum wanted to reach out to a younger audience while still being attracted to the older audience. So they want to get new memberships, but they also want to keep their current audience. So by having a topic such as this and using authentic imagery throughout this project, it creates a sense of nostalgia in the older audience, and it kind of relates to sort of like a sci-fi feel that you would see in video games or like in movies, which is very sort of appealing to a younger audience as well. So using the authentic imagery and this sort of graphic style, it really kind of marries those two together to create a very cool design system that I just had a lot of fun doing. I actually found in Classy Like Bernard, if you're still there, I don't know if you said if you were in school or not. I don't know if you were in school or not, but one thing that I found was when I started doing design school, everything that I had a lot of fun doing in design kind of got shut down because I got taught all these rules and things that I couldn't do. And you're kind of forced to kind of do that your first couple of years of design school because you have to learn the rules before you can break them. And I think this was kind of like my very first time at design school, kind of breaking out of that and kind of going back to what I was doing, which was having a lot of fun in Photoshop and doing all these sort of cool glitch effects. And when I was able to just kind of let loose and kind of have fun while still kind of in the back of my mind thinking of these design rules, it created a really cool visual system, and I had a lot of fun doing that. Oh, cool. Okay. You're 25. Okay, so you're not too much older than me. And graduated at 18. Okay, cool. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun making this project. I don't know why. I just love the cover and just the sort of glitch effect. I had a lot of fun making this. This is like one of the ones that maybe I was a little bit too personally attached to, but still had a lot of fun doing. And I actually created an environmental graphic tutorial on my YouTube channel using this project. So if you guys have ever seen that video, you'll probably recognize the next image, I think is what it is. This one here, yep. So, I mean, I bought a mock-up pack, which had maybe like 10 different images in it. And it was of an exhibition hall. And I was able to just drag and drop my graphics onto this. And by doing so, you can make it look like your graphic that you created on your own computer. You can make it look like a real thing in the real world. So that's what I did. And it really kind of brought this project to life, because that's really what this project was taking a visual system and how do you apply it to everything that you're going to need to for an event. You're going to need some maybe newspaper ads, maybe not so much these days, but I had the mock-up and I wanted to just throw it on there anyways. Newspaper ads, how does that look on the wall at the exhibition? How does that look on a brochure? How does that look on the side of a subway train? So really just how you're being sort of divergent in how you use the system. And you don't want to be what we call cookie cutter, which is you take the same graphic and you just copy and paste it onto every single thing the same exact way and just scale it down. No, you got to move things around. This graphic, when it looked the same on a pencil, I mean, like this spaceman thing, I would not use that on a pencil because obviously you're not going to see anything. It's just going to be a blob. But on a poster, it works quite nicely. So thinking that way is very important when creating a system. Oh, not 18, 21. Yeah, I was thinking 21 or 18 was a little young for college. I didn't want to say anything in case you're like one of those mastermind dudes that graduated at 18. Alright, so clicked too early. Alright, this project here is very different than everything else that I've done. And I did that intentionally because you want to show, especially as a first portfolio for a graphic design graduate, you want to show that you're divergent. And what I mean by that is that you can do more than one style. And as a designer, you might have your own personal style, but to an employer, you want to make sure they want to know that you can do more than one thing. And this project here is very sort of Victorian and very sort of traditional typography. So not a sans serif. We're using very old school typography. And this is a cookbook that I designed. I actually bought the cookbook. I bought a cookbook and redesigned the whole thing, and that's how I made this book. So this book here is called Exquisite Embellishments. And it's a very sort of in-depth cake cookbook. Not for like your traditional baker. This isn't for somebody that wants to make a cake for Johnny's birthday party. This is for somebody who's like very artistic. They want to dedicate a whole weekend to making this beautiful wedding style type cake, or like sort of like you watch shows like Cake Boss, where you create objects that wouldn't normally, like if I wanted to create, like right here, there's like a little jewelry box, and that's actually a cake. Somebody made a jewelry box out of cake. So that's the type of cookbook this is. But I use very traditional typography. But you can't be too old school, because then you've already seen that before. What's the point of redesigning it in a way that's been done a million times? How do you take that old school typography but make it a little contemporary, so that way it looks like it's related to today's world, but it's still kind of got roots in some older typography? So I did that with like using like cool patterns, and then just how I use the patterns and also the kind of duotone over the images really kind of brings this traditional typography to the 21st century. I like to call it Grandma 2.0 because that's really what it looks like to me. Like you have this sort of grandma's wallpaper sort of look, but it's like, this is probably my favorite spread in the whole book. The table of contents page. I love small caps, which is what it is. It's small capital letters. It's actually a specific typography character paired with the numbers, and these are called old style figures. And I don't know, I just love this page a lot. And you can kind of see, like if you remember my very first project, it was that Perception Deception project. I used the same layout for that book. And I did that because why reinvent the wheel? If I'm displaying two 60-page books, why would I really switch up the layout? Like if I've already developed a layout that works for one book, why would I change it up for the next book? Like I'm going back and forth between small, and it's something I didn't mention before, but you do not want to do too many different sizes here. Like at the very beginning here, I have the really small. Here, I'm not going to point because you can't see where I'm pointing to. I use the mouse like a normal person. I got these really small books here, and then I have like a medium-sized book here. And then I got the full page right here. And those are the only three sizes that I'm using. And then even on the picture where I had the cover kind of angled, if you measure it out, it's the same size as this page here. So I'm only using three sizes because if you're doing things at too many different sizes, then people aren't going to have any idea as to what scale your book is. And it's really just changing it up for no reason. And again, that ties back into if I'm showing two books that are roughly the same size, why would I switch up how I'm displaying them? So, I mean, this book here is kind of very repetitive. All the recipes kind of look the same, which is almost required for a cookbook. That's kind of what you're expected. But I had a lot of fun making this, and it really kind of adds a lot of diversity to my portfolio. All right. Moving on to the next project. So this is project 6. I have a total of 8 projects in my portfolio, I think. So I got 2 more to go, and the last one's actually a group project. So Classy Like Bernard. Do you have any of your work online, or do you have like a portfolio as well? I've been thinking about doing like a I know like to be successful on Twitch you need to have some sort of a schedule, which I don't have yet, and I know I need to work on that. So I'm thinking I'm going to put together a schedule, and I think one of those nights I'm going to do like a portfolio critique night. I've seen a lot of designers doing that, and I have a lot of fun critiquing people's designs, and not because I'm like that guy that wants to like totally tear apart your design, but I have a lot of fun providing my sort of knowledge and things that I've learned and helping out other people, because almost every single time I'll tell somebody something and they'll be like, oh, I didn't think of that. Thank you. So I have a lot of fun doing that. So I'm thinking that'll be something cool to stream. But let me know. After this portfolio, after tonight's stream, I need to kind of think of some things that I can start doing on my stream, because I initially started streaming to make this, and now that I'm done with it, I need to figure out what's the next project. And I have a couple in my mind already, but I'm worried that it might be kind of boring. One of it's like a web design project, so it'll be a lot of coding. And I think for the audience that I'm trying to create, they wouldn't be so much into the coding side of things as they would for the actual design. Anyways, I'm going to kind of, let me respond to a text, and then we will get into this next project. Alright, so this project here, it was actually funny. The very first day of class, my instructor comes into class and says, we're not going to design something fun. All your classes, you get to design something fun, which was actually true. Like, I thought about it, and every single thing that we've done up to this point was something that we got to choose, and it was a fun topic. Because you're not going to choose a topic that's not fun. But in the real world, you have to design for projects that aren't fun. So, and not like all the time, but like, obviously, if something comes up across your plate and it's not a fun topic, you still got to do your job. So the topic that I chose, or I think it was actually assigned to me, was income inequality. And something that I didn't really know a whole lot about at the beginning. And as a way to kind of educate myself, and that kind of ties into the whole purpose of this project. This project was really kind of aimed to educate people and sort of retrain how people think about income inequality. And from my research, I found out a lot more than I didn't know before, and just really kind of uncovered a whole lot. So this project is divided into a card set, so like 5x7 or it was 4x5 cards, like kind of playing cards. Not like playing cards that you would play like poker with, but just as a way to display for me. You'll see. Okay. So I designed a card set, a booklet, and an infographic. And okay, so here's the photo. I actually took this photo myself. Everyone in my class thought this was a mock-up, meaning that it was created in a 3D program and all you have to do is drop in your photos. Nope, this was a real project, or this was a real photo. I laid out all these things myself. I took the photos, edited it. So these things here are the cards, and then this photo here was just kind of to be like a hero shot. I've done that for all my projects. But it also kind of shows some scale to what does the card look like next to the book. So that was the purpose of this. These are the cards. And so these card sets really just kind of show statistics. And the idea for these is just to inform people. And my idea for this whole system was, in accounting, red and black are very important colors, because black means that you are kind of, you're doing good. Black means that you're good. And when you're in the red, that means that you're obviously not meeting your, like, actually, I just wrote it right here. As any financial professional knows, in the red is a phrase that designates a negative or below zero value. Conversely, in the black is the opposite, above zero. So if you were to refer to someone's account as being in the red, they are kind of in debt. If you were to refer to their account as being in the black, then they're okay. And I have to sneeze, hold on. Oh, now that I said it, I don't have to sneeze anymore. Gosh, I should have just sneezed. So that was kind of my inspiration for this whole visual system, was kind of following a red, white, and black theme. And it's just very visually compelling as well. So this card set shows statistics, uses quotes, and just kind of uses some photography as well to kind of convey the point of income inequality, which is what this topic is. Probably should have said that a good 3 minutes ago, shouldn't I? Here's the front and back cover of the booklet I made. And so how do the statistics relate? Okay, so you hear like women only make 80% of what a man makes in a similar job, right? That's kind of like a very popular statistics that people like to say. And people also talk about the 99% and the 1% in America. And those are kind of really where it stops. The majority of people don't really think more than that when it comes to income inequality. And this project was really kind of aiming to talk to people and really educate them that there's more to that. And this was something that I didn't know before starting this project, so I think that this is helpful to kind of take this information, make a cool project out of it, but also get to learn something out of it as well. But those statistics that were in the card set, okay, I mean, I'm not saying this myself, but some people would say, oh, 80%, okay, so that's sad, but okay, whatever. But in my booklet, you take those statistics and you put a face to it. So instead of saying women make 80% of what a man makes, you phrase it as a woman, I will only make 80% of what a man makes in the same field. So by kind of shifting the way that you word it, it becomes a lot more personable. You're looking at the person's face and you really start to connect with them a little bit more than you would if it was just a random statistic with no personality or kind of humanity behind it. And obviously these, or I want to make sure that it's obvious, but these are not real quotes by these people. These are stock images that I found, and I just want to make sure that you don't think this woman here said this quote for real. This is just a school assignment. But below this quote, it's supposed to be a little story about this woman and how she's actually making more than 80% of what a man makes. She might be making 120% of what a man makes. So the idea for this booklet too was to show how these people have broken past these limits that the world places on them. And without getting too political about this, I just think that this was a kind of a cool concept, and it turned out to be a really awesome looking project. So it touches on different subjects too, about race, like immigration status, your location. And then at the very end, it kind of explains that concept that I just briefly touched on, and it kind of a little call to action on how we must inspire, encourage, and motivate people. So that's that project. Oh, and then an infographic too. This was actually created for a separate class that specifically focused on information design and how you can use these different design tools to display information in an intriguing, compelling, and then most of all, a functional way. So I created an infographic that talks about the average income by state, race, and gender, and how that compares to the cost of living per state. So, and it's just kind of visually interesting too, and it follows the same visual system as well. Alright, we got one more project, or we got two more projects, and then we're done, and maybe we will get into doing some actual design work tonight. This last project here was for a project I called Trek Prep. And this was a branding project. So I created this logo, and I was really big into camping when I was younger. I did the Boy Scout program, and as an 11-year-old Boy Scout, and I had no idea where to start on planning a trip. Like, I'm 11 years old, you're just out of 5th grade, you've just started middle school. And I mean, it's obviously a youth-led program. People want the boys to plan their own events, which is good, but I had no idea where to start, and you really don't know what you don't know. I remember one time we were planning a trip, and somebody asked us if we had the permits. And I thought to myself, what's a permit? And I mean, a permit's something that you need to get from the campgrounds to say that it's okay for you to camp that night. And I'm sure there's some legal stuff in there as well, but I didn't know anything like that. And I could just imagine there's similar people that don't know anything about planning a trip to the outdoors, but maybe they want to go and plan something in the outdoors. So that was the idea for this company. And that really inspired the logo, because in the outdoors, I noticed a lot of this sort of like triangular motif, like looking outside of your tent in the morning, this tent opening, more or less a triangle. You see the hills in the background, a triangle, and then you even look at like a tree and then you see triangles. And I don't know why, just triangles really seem to show up a lot, and I incorporated that into my logo, paired it with a nice typeface, used a really nice color, and created a visual system based off of that. Here's some business cards, some exploration for typography. It's important to kind of show your process in your portfolio. That's a big thing, kind of showing your thought process. And then this is something called a brand identity guidelines. You can do it in the form of an app like I did here. You can do a hardcover book, which is more traditional. Some companies just do a PDF, which I think is a little bit more practical, but obviously as designers we like printed things, we like pretty looking things, and you can do a lot more with a printed book than you can with an app or with a PDF in my mind. So all this really does is it talks about the company, it talks about the mission statement, the process for the new logo, the color palette, the design system, and then sort of the do's and don'ts of the logo. Like, don't put a drop shadow on it, don't skew it, don't use a different typeface. That's very traditional stuff that you'll see in a brand guideline. So I created one of those, created a website too that kind of was the service for this company, helping somebody plan a trip. It's essentially Yelp for, it's like Travel Advisor and Yelp meet to create something for the outdoors. That's the best way I can describe it. So that was actually a fairly simple project. Still looks really nice. I love that business card page. That's like my favorite business card mock-up. And I'm sorry, I'm not really like talking to anybody, but if anyone has any questions about any of these projects, or if you want me to go back and show you something else, give you more clarity on anything, feel free to just type in the chat. I don't mind. This isn't like a talk show, or, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. It's not like a play where I can't stop to talk to anybody. This is a live stream. We should be talking with each other, have a little rapport going on. So yeah, any questions, just feel free to shoot them over. I'd be happy to answer. Alright, before we go into this last project here, let me check over on the old iMessage. I got all my other stuff going on over here. I got OBS, Twitch, so if you see me looking this way, look into that stuff. Alright, save the best for last. So this here, this here was a group package design project where I worked with 6 designers, or 6 including me, so 5 other people, and we created a retail store brand system. Like, imagine you going, I think Target's a pretty nationwide brand. If you go to Target, Target has their in-store brands. I know Up and Up was the main one. I can't think of any others right now. But they have Up and Up, which is the Target brand. But it's called Up and Up. Up and Up has its own logo, its own package design system. And that's just a marketing strategy that retail stores use. So that the goal for this project was to create a retail store brand, so the name of the store, so it would be like the Target. And then we had to create 3 different sub-brands that go underneath that. So, like Up and Up. Up and Up belongs to Target. So the store that we created was called Epoch, which means it's the definition of epoch more or less has to do with like a turning point in time. And sort of our strategy and our sort of idea concept for this was we wanted to create a store that was very environmentally conscious, environmentally friendly, because we're kind of at this turning point in time where we're either going to do something to help our planet or we're going to do something to just make it worse. And that was the idea for this. So we created several different sub-brands underneath that. We created a home decor brand called Loft, a wellness brand called Bloom, and a food and kitchen brand called Gather. And you can't really see that really well, can you? The Gather logos, and you'll see it in a little bit when I flip the pages when we get down to that. But those are the logos that we created for each one. And very sort of Norwegian design, Scandinavian design. Our store, we had decided would be in Oslo, Norway, because it's a very environmentally conscious city. Our first home decor brand is called Loft, and this is sort of like a little mini mood board. And being environmentally conscious, we decided that we didn't need to have a huge box, or I mean a huge printed label, right? Like normally when you get a box, the whole box is printed and it's all on coated paper. but by using just regular craft paper and a small little portion of uncoated printed labels, it has a really sort of cool look to it, and you really minimize the amount of ink used to produce this box. And it just, I mean, it creates a really cool visual system as well. So we use very sort of clean typography, having everything be fairly minimalistic throughout this whole project. This is kind of where I got to shine a little bit. I was the guy that was in charge of doing all the photo editing for this whole project. So this photo here, this teapot, there was actually, I think, an empty glass, or not empty, but it was like a glass filled with water. And I think there were maybe some plants in it. I don't really remember what was on it. But that was sitting right here where this teapot was. And the photo actually cropped about halfway through this teapot. So me using my Photoshop skills, I extended the photo out a little bit, got rid of the pot, and put the teapot here instead, added some shadows, and then really just made it look like this teapot blended right in. I also did something for the mug here. It's very small, but in the background of the mug there was a chair that was really kind of just distracting, so I Photoshopped out the chair. And so that I have a lot of fun doing that stuff. A lot of people are intimidated by that, or don't even know where to start on that type of stuff, and that's something that I have a lot of fun doing. Even like on this one, we had a little napkin underneath this mug box to kind of prevent it from tilting, but we forgot to move the napkin when we took this photo, and we didn't realize it until we were done. So I had to Photoshop out the napkin, and also I had to do some work around the edges here because our background wasn't super big, so I had to make some Photoshop adjustments for that. Our wellness brand is called Bloom. Very even more minimal than the first one. And I think this one turned out very cool. We actually decided to change this one last minute. We did have some watercolors going on, but we got some negative feedback on it at the end of this class. So when we were all in portfolio together, this is like 6 months afterwards, we changed the labels and everything for this photo shoot. So you can see it's just very basic. It's just typography on a white background. And we got some bath salts. These bath salts are differentiated by the different colors of the bath salts. Some of the other bottles are differentiated by some being clear glass, some are frosted glass, and other ones are painted white. So like these ones here are painted white. And it all kind of goes with, like, if it's a mattifying or if it's a nourishing or moisturizing, I think is what the other one was. Alright, here's the Gather logo that you didn't get to see before. For the Gather logo, we kind of made the H look like a chair going underneath a table. I thought it was kind of a very creative solution. Granted, this isn't 100% my work. We had a group of people working together on this. Here's kind of like a hero shot of everything that we, or not everything, like one of everything that we did. We made way too much stuff for this project. We went overboard. But we did wine, dry food, we did some tea, coffee, juice, pasta sauce, spices. We did everything. Some members of our group were very talented illustrators, so they created some custom illustrations for each of these juices, and being very kind of playful and whimsical with it, we did fun little titles like Easy Peasy, Okay Yeah, and I think we had some other ones too. I forget what the other ones. I think we had 4 different types of juices. Here's some dry fish as well as some fresh fish. Sort of like when you go to the meat counter, right? They have the wrapping paper that they would wrap the meat up in. So that's what this is here on the left. And then on the right, we have a like boxed, sort of like vacuum sealed smoked fish. Pasta sauce. I'm just kind of flipping through it because I think a lot of it's self-explanatory. We had some spices, and we created a laser cut spice rack for this. Some teas. And that's like dry tea, so like you would have to. It's not like tea bags. This is just dry tea. If you drink tea, you know what that is. And then coffee here in coffee cans. And then we have a bottle of wine with another custom illustration. The wine was actually, so there's the white wine and there's the red wine, and these like kings and queens, like Norwegian gods. I think that's kind of what we were going for. So one was the queen, one was the king. So kind of a fun little thing there. And that's the end of my book. I have like a thank you page. And then after that, I have kind of like a colophon, which has, well, you can't see it at all, but it's got like the paper type of paper that I printed it on and everything else. So it only took me about an hour to go through that. I think less than an hour, like 45 minutes. But that was my portfolio. So hopefully you guys liked it. I had a lot of fun making it. I have a lot of fun walking you through it too. Obviously because these are projects that I worked on for months at a time, and I think my earliest projects I made in 2015. Oops, sorry. My earliest project I made in 2015 or 2016. So 2 years worth of work in this book, but obviously there was another 2 years that conditioned me to be able to make this type of work. So all in all, about 4 years worth of work to make this book. So yeah, that was my portfolio. So all the streams that I did before this were working on creating those chapter openers. Gosh, those chapter openers took the longest to make. My school wanted me to get the chapter opener figured out, because once I got the chapter opener figured out, I could kind of use that to create a design system for the rest of the book. So that was definitely the starting point, and once you figure that out, it does become a lot more easy. But just trying to figure out something that was different, something that was refined enough, just was a very long process, and very kind of frustrating process at sometimes, but you knew that you were working towards something better. And when you would bring a design that you worked on all week, just have it get shot down, it's a little demotivating, but you know that it's something that wasn't going to work out, because my instructor that I had has a very good eye for design, and I just knew that no matter what, she wasn't going to let me leave this class with a bad portfolio. And I ended up getting an A on my portfolio. I had exceeds expectations on every single like rubric element for it. I even received, I think, 6 different invitations to interview based off of my portfolio, and that's not even me seeking out people. Those are people seeking out me based off of my portfolio. So that's great. So yeah, so that was the book. I'm not going to go through every single project again, but I just kind of wanted to show you what a project looks like on the website. So you can see how those same elements make it to the website. You got the quote, sort of the objective and solution, the specs, as well as all the different pictures. Oh, that's how this one works. You can see it going in and out. But yeah, everything is just kind of on the website. So yeah, if you guys want to check out the website, my link for it is down below, I think. Learn more on my website. I got it there. I did have a blog section up on my website for a while, but I got rid of it for this. I haven't finished designing it yet, but it'll be back up shortly. So that's kind of my website. Oh, you can see kind of my about page too. There's a photo of me. Look how handsome I am. And then it's got like little bits about me, my view on design, a little bit about me. Nice to meet you. You can see my resume. So all the stuff that belongs on a portfolio website. But I think now what I need to do, I think I'm going to take a break for a little bit, like a little 5-minute break. Then we're going to come back and we are going to start creating some social media graphics and some Twitch graphics, actually, mainly Twitch graphics for my channel, so that way I can fix this screen here. I don't really care for this screen too much. There's a lot of clutter. It's kind of a little dark too. So I think I want to switch this page up. I'm gonna have to switch up this page here, my Be Right Back page, stream. So I'm gonna have to change all that stuff up. And so yeah, I'm gonna go take a little short break. You guys can take this for a break too. Go get some water, get some snacks. That's what I'm gonna do. And then we'll be back here in about 5 minutes, maybe less, and we will start creating some graphics. So all these those previous screens I just showed you. So I'll be right back. Some graphics. So all these those previous screens I just showed you. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Okay, so what we need to do now is we looked over my portfolio, and now we need to make some Twitch graphics to update all of this stuff, because I don't like how this looks. I mean, we don't got to do so much. We don't have to do a whole lot, but we have to change it up a little bit because it's not the best looking stuff around. And I really just kind of want to make it look like my my new branding, which is sort of like this look and feel, right? Like this blue background. I'm using Helvetica Neue for the typeface, which some people say Helvetica Neue, but it's pronounced Helvetica Neue. At least that's what I've been told. I was told I was saying it wrong. So I need to design my stuff to look more or less like this too. So my about page, I think, is even better at just at showing how I want this to look. So let me see what we can do. I think the first thing that we should do here, let me open up my folder here that I got all my graphics in, and we'll kind of work off what I had before. And we'll kind of use that as a guide for this. So I got a Photoshop canvas up over here. So you go personal branding, stream. Alright, so this is what I got now. As you can kind of see. This is just like a transparent PNG. And then this is what I have for like an offline screen. Or this is like my stream starting soon, right? It's got my old logo. It's got the Twitch logo. So I think maybe if I work off of that document, I could maybe do it. And then also have to create all the little badges for down below too, where it's like about me, following Behance. So is this set up the same way as my other ones? This is only at 150 DPI. I think this works. It doesn't need to be super high end, right? Doesn't need to be, oh, whatever. Is it even worth it to restart all this stuff or no? Alright, so what do I need to do? I need to go to my website here. Get the same color. I think that's the same color needed, right? Why does it look different? I feel like that's a different color than I wanted it to be. Maybe my eyes are just going weird. Who knows? Alright, so we got this. We're gonna make like a like the starting soon screen. So I think maybe I should do like 125 border. I think that's a good amount. I really have no idea how I want to do this because my design system is very sort of minimal, but I don't want it to be too boring because then that just gets boring, right? So it's kind of finding a happy medium where it still works with everything else, but it's not super boring. So, and I guess we can just kind of start with throwing some text on it, and then just kind of seeing where we go from that. Stream starting soon. It's using the right typeface. I'll use regular here. Do all our leading and stuff. Not leading, kerning, I mean. And Photoshop does not do a really good job with kerning. So I need to go into Illustrator and double check some of this stuff. I don't know why. I have the hardest time doing this in Photoshop. My Photoshop just does not do a good job. But I think there's some sort of a glitch that happens when I'm trying to do it. Trying to position my canvas in a way so that you guys can see it too. That's another thing too. I think when I need to design this, I need to make it so that way my video is not so intrusive on the actual. Because I feel like when I'm actually designing, like I would normally design like this, but then you can't see the bottom left stuff either. So maybe I might design it in a way so that way, I don't know. I need to figure it out. Maybe I get one of those green screens in the back. Who knows? But I do think that one of the keys is to not make it too kind of complicated, right? So stream starting soon, right? So what I need, obviously I need to say this. I have like a PowerPoint template that I really like to use, and I think that might be cool. Let me see if I can find one that I haven't used yet. Come on, it's freezing on me. I think maybe a stream like that, or I think I know what I want to do. I'm actually trying to figure out if Photoshop is the best program to use this in. Yeah, we'll use it for now and see. You know what? I think I'm gonna switch over to Illustrator just because I like Illustrator a little bit more. And for kind of like the look that I'm going for, it's going to be a little bit easier to do stuff. Hey man, how's it going? Thanks for swinging by. You actually I just finished going through my whole design portfolio. And now I'm working on creating some updated Twitch graphics to kind of align more with what I created for my portfolio. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I have yeah, closed out. Now here's the website. Here is my here's my homepage. So this is kind of like the homepage to my portfolio site. Here's all my projects. Well, snap. So yeah, we got all my projects here, and then I got like my this portfolio tab here is actually for a hardcover book that I made. Once the stream ends, I think you can go back to the videos and kind of watch sort of my walkthrough on this, or you can just click down below to my website and just find this yourself. But my goal is to create sort of like this look and feel for my Twitch graphics. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I need to do. I think I could actually incorporate my photo into my graphics too, because I'm kind of struggling trying to make it look cool, but like make it like, I don't know, I don't want to make it too minimalistic, which is kind of the look and feel that I have for everything. So that's kind of my struggle right now. I didn't have a plan for this before. Normally I like to go into my designs with some sort of a sketch, but I'm just kind of winging it right now. I think this will be kind of like a good like offline page, maybe, like using this sort of style. We'll figure it out. I'm actually going to design this in Illustrator. So yeah, how'd your Steam redesign go? I kind of stepped out for a little bit, but then I kind of peeked back in. I dropped a bit. I spent forever trying to figure out how to get bits without paying for them, and I just figured out that you can do you can watch ads and you can get 5 bits for free. So I need to figure out how often I can do that. So all I'm doing right now is just creating some guides. How can I make this snap? Snap to point, snap to pixel. There we go. I think I just had to be zoomed in. Oh, I didn't line up. Oh, I messed it up with that, didn't I? There we go. I like to have a lot of breathing room when I create stuff like this. Like really wide margins. I'm having a hard time hitting those. Let's check it out. Alright, so this is the original one on the left, I believe. And then these are yours on the right. Nice, so the redesign, so were you trying to like just copy it, or were you trying to like make it a little bit different? Because I'm seeing that you changed some of the colors around. I think the main differences that I see are like Emilia Clarke, Ice Cube, and so the main differences that I see are on the top portion here, right? And you also kind of cleaned up these icons a little bit too, which is nice. Cool stuff. I have a lot of fun doing this type of UI stuff. It's very cool. I don't know why I don't do more of it. I have a lot of fun doing it. And it's really cool. Like when I'm designing in Photoshop, I use the Photoshop preview. And you can actually see it on your phone when you're designing stuff. I know that was for like the desktop client, but still, it's cool to do that type of stuff. Small differences, but also with this sort by option. Okay, I didn't see that. That's cool. See, it's small things like that that really drive a full redesign. Is thinking of an option like that, sort by. Oh, I see. Okay. Cool. I like this group chat sort of page here. That looks very realistic. Also, your typography down here cleaned up a little bit. I think this sort of condensed typeface that they're using looks kind of cheap, especially when you do the underline there. It looks kind of bad. I hate underlining stuff. Like there's a specific style that I like when you underline things, but for the most part, I hate that. Like web, anytime there's a link, it underlines it. It's just it's sort of a bad look. I think it could easily translate that way too. Gradients can be hard to pull off on a mobile client. Yeah. Cool. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I used to do stuff like that, and I don't know. I think I had a really popular YouTube video a few years ago. And by a few years ago, I mean it was probably like 5 years ago now. I redesigned like the Black Ops homepage for Call of Duty, and I don't know if I like redesigned it or if I like designed it with the thought in mind that it would be like for the next game. I know that was kind of like a popular thing to do. So I think I remember doing that. That was a lot of fun. A lot of people were like, man, this should totally be the screen. I mean, but like at that point, you don't really know what you're designing for because the game hasn't been released yet. So this, I'm kind of mimicking my business card. Do I have one right here? So I have a business card. That's what my business card looks like. So I'm thinking I'm going to put this kind of up in the top corner here. And you always skip a weight, so I'm going to go to medium for that, my name, and then graphic, or for light for graphic designer. And this whole thing here should be set to optical, maybe 10 tracking. So something that you do that I need to start doing now is create a schedule. I do not have a schedule at all. I kind of started. I streamed way back in the day for like Modern Warfare 3, and then I took a long break because I was doing college, community college, and then actual college, and then I just finished that up last month. So now I have time to like do stuff again, but I obviously want to gear my channel more towards graphic design, and I think part of doing a successful Twitch channel is you need to come up with some sort of schedule. It's just like TV, right? Like I know when Game of Thrones is going to be on every night, but I don't know when I'm going to be streaming. Right, I think the biggest thing is that I want it to be a lot more customizable and easy to see where those options occur versus how they have it set up right now. Okay, good point. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I would like really redesign. I'm sure once I thought of something, it would become very obvious. I remember YouTube used to do like a redesign every year. That was very, very annoying. Yeah, I think sticking to like some sort of schedule is a good guide. I mean, obviously life comes and life happens, but you I think trying to stick to it is a good thing. I need to get better at that too. So this is full screen. How big is this stuff going to be? I'm using like my project proposal over here. It's kind of like a key. Yeah, dude. Yeah, hit me up. You can either message me on here. You can send me a DM on Twitter. Yeah, we should set something up. Let's do this. We need some more graphic designers here on Twitch. I feel like I spend like a good, like, I feel like I'll find somebody streaming graphic design maybe once a week at most. So I think we really need to set up some sort of graphic design thing so that way we can really have more of a presence here on Twitch. But we should definitely take advantage of the fact that there's not a lot of designers on Twitch, so that way, you know, we can kind of get our foot in the door, and then when it starts to be big for design, then we're like on top. You know what I'm saying? We have to be the ninjas and the Dr. Lupos of graphic design. That's right, that's what that dude's name is, Dr. Lupo. I don't really watch a lot of Twitch. Yeah, I got that right. Alright, anyways, yeah, thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you on your next stream. See ya. Have a good night. Let's see, we want this to be on white. This is one good, or maybe two. I'm just trying to think of like information that makes sense to put on kind of a like a welcome screen. I think this might look nice to kind of have the icons next to them. On my portfolio, I had these things smaller, so maybe we'll drop this to 24. We'll make this guy here all caps. Make him bold. Maybe I'm dropping down to 20. 22. I think 75 is too much. Let's do 50 tracking. And that looks good. The idea here is to be consistent. My Twitch should look the same as my resume, my resume should look the same as my Twitch, you know. Actually, I think adding the icons might be mess up the sort of alignment. Set the width up here to be 75 pixels. Bring that there. Alright, then where does this line want to end? I don't think this line should go across the whole screen. Maybe? It kind of keep hitting my microphone. I just have a lot of stuff going on in my head right now. I'm trying to figure out a lot. I wish there was a way that I could change this, get this text to like match my stream title without making a new graphic every stream. It might be worth it. I don't know. Stream starting soon. Hey, how's it going? Hardly a pro. Do I know you? I don't feel like I know you, but I feel like I should because you address me by my name. Granted, my name's all over this channel. Anyways, regardless, thank you. Welcome. What we're doing is we're making some updated streaming graphics for Twitch. Put some text here eventually. I think even this could be a little bit smaller too. 75. Do I still? Yeah, I do still. I do freelance work still. I was saying earlier in the stream that I have. I just finished doing. I got my bachelor's degree a little over a month ago, and I'm in the process of. Well, I mean, I have a full-time job, but I'm in the process of trying to find like another. Or just trying to. I have some opportunities reaching out to me, and I'm just trying to figure out all my options and trying to see if there's something else that's better, or seeing if I can make where I'm at now work. But in addition to all that, I'm always open to new design opportunities. I love doing projects, and now that I'm like done with school, I made the mistake of trying to do projects while I was in school, and all that did was just have me make a whole bunch of half-assed work because I'm working half the time, and when I'm not at work, I'm at home doing schoolwork, and then when I'm not doing that, I'm trying to sleep and trying to do all that, and then fit a side project into that wasn't working out. But now I have like all this free time, and I got stuff to do. Oh, you've been looking at my website. Awesome. Well, what'd you think? I was actually spending the first half of the stream looking at my portfolio and kind of showcasing that to everyone. Well, what do you know? I do stream graphics. Obviously, my style, I mean, I could do... People do like all these flares and stuff in Photoshop, which is obviously kind of something that people like and something I can do. That's actually what I started doing, was doing stream graphics and YouTube graphics way back in like 2009, 2010. And that's really kind of what got me into graphic design. This style here, probably most people wouldn't really want, unless you're into that type of like Swiss minimal design. This just happens to be the design system that I chose for myself, so that's why I'm using this for me. Yeah, well, if you want my help with some stream graphics, feel free to send me an email. I got my website up on my I was gonna say I have my website up on my email. I have my email up on my website. Just shoot me an email on that. Kind of let me know what you're looking for, and we can work something out. Hey, how's it going? Programmer, and I do some stuff with games. Oh, that's just like a recipe for some really cool looking graphics. Yeah, dude, that sounds awesome. Hit me up, let me know. I have a lot of fun doing that. I've been wanting to get back into that sort of style of design. I just haven't found the right project to do it on yet. Can't decide what I want to put here. Should I put like the stream title? Should I put some like funny little bit? Refilling coffee. I don't know. I don't have coffee with me, so if I don't have coffee every time, that doesn't make sense. Awesome. I'll make sure I'll keep an eye out for your email, and then we can work from there. And heck, if you want me to, I can even stream making it. We'll just leave this at here for now. I'll figure that out. I think we kind of got the design set up. I don't know if I want to put something over here on the right or not. I kind of like how this is just left aligned. Very simple. So I got my Twitter, Instagram, and website. I think this needs to go up a little bit. Alright, how does that look? This is on your stream like that. Can you read everything on there? Okay, so how many people that watch streams, do you guys normally watch your stream full screen, in theater mode, or do you guys just watch it kind of normal, like small? I'm trying to figure out if I need to add more tracking or not. So if I have the screen like this, it needs to be tracked out more, but if people are watching it full screen, then it might not be a big issue. Napcat, say how's it going? You just oh, I was talking to you on the other stream, wasn't I? Thanks for swinging by. Okay, so you watch it theater mode. Most people have a countdown timer there. Oh, that would be cool. Okay, so I'm going to try and figure out the countdown timer thing. I don't know how to set that up, but I feel like that would be cool to set up. Man, okay. But I think it's your design. I think your design should consider all of those. Yeah, true. Let's take all these and just go boop, boop, boop. There. Maybe one there for good measure. Maybe up here too. Alright, I think that'll be fine. You can still, it's legible like that. And if someone's super intrigued, they can just, you know what? They can zoom in. Plus, it's not like all this information isn't below like 2 inches on the screen. Alright, so put some text here eventually. I don't know how the timer thing works. But you know, I will. No, I think that only works if it's. I don't know, that kind of looks good. There's like a lot of empty space here. This kind of feels like it's gonna fall down. Is that kind of like a see and say sort of thing? We know it's a countdown timer. Starting in. I think what I want for this. We'll leave that there. And then just to balance it out a little bit. It'd be cool to have the countdown timer up there. Alright. Laptop, full screen, desktop is theater mode. Alright, yeah, that makes sense. I do the same thing too. It actually kind of depends on what I'm doing too. If I'm not doing anything else, then I'll have it as theater mode, so that way I can like fully dedicate myself to that stream. But if I'm doing other things, for whatever reason, I just have it stay regular. I don't know why. I feel like when I do theater mode, I'm like I'm forcing myself to watch it when I know I should be doing something else, but it's more of a background thing. Alright, so this is what I got so far. I think that'll work. And I'm going to use the same thing for like a be right back sort of page. So we can just take this guy and copy him, bring him down here. Oh. What happened there? That was weird. Alright, got this guy here. This will kind of be for like my 5-minute break that I do. Does 5-minute need to be or have an apostrophe in it? 5-minute or 5-minute? I look dumb. Doesn't need a hyphen. What was I trying to say? It's been a long day. I've been designing all day at work. Then I come here, do a 2-hour stream. Be right back. Taking a quick 5-minute break. Okay, that works. Look how easy that was. I feel like I should make this a different color though. Email has been sent. Awesome. Oh, should I go read your email? No, I'll read your email after the stream. Pen in the pad. -8 minutes. Ah, dude, you need to hang out with me all the time. If I got a question, I'll just ask you and then look it up for me. You spell out 23 though. It's written 23. Okay, so you hyphenate the actual minute, but if you were to write 5-minute like that. So if I were to write 23-minute break, then I would use the hyphen, right? Gotcha. Okay. Cool, thanks. Stream starting soon. I think I use gray. I mean, if this, okay, I don't get how come all the different Adobe programs have like different different shortcuts for everything. Like, why? What's the point? Where is So that's kind of what it would look like. Be Right Back would be gray. Starting would be black. Just so that way there's like a quick difference between the two. This one here doesn't look super gray to me. Oh, there's a big difference between 70 and 80. Oh, it's auto-converting. I'm so used to using CMYK. Okay. 90. I think I'll do 95. Is 95 too much? Yeah, 90 is fine. Okay, be right back. Taking a quick 5-minute break. Stream starting soon. Put some texture eventually. Okay, we'll figure that out. I was going to do my photo on the offline screen, but I wonder if it's even needed now. Offline. Offline. Follow me to know when I'm live. And then this one here doesn't need the timer. Maybe this one can just be black. Gosh, I always forget which one it is. It's kind of a cool system, isn't it? Gray, black, and blue. They just want to piss you more off before. Yeah, like that's the thing is I go back and forth between these three programs a lot. I go back and forth between Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, and they all have different shortcuts. And then even for like the same, like I like when I'm copying this. And I want to copy and paste it right in the same spot. Like, look, if I do this, I'm copying it here, and I want to copy it in the same spot, I do that shortcut. If I were to do the Illustrator shortcut, or the InDesign shortcut, it would paste it on every single artboard. And I don't realize that all the time, is I'll be working like this, and I'm pasting things, and then I zoom back out once I'm done, kind of getting ready to get off. And then all my other artboards are messed up because everything's been pasted on every single artboard. And then I have to like go through and either click them all or just undo if I haven't done that much. Based on the article, I think you should have have the hyphen because you're accentuating the noun break. I meant because you're using the noun with the noun. Yeah, I like the colors. All right, well I'll go back and reread that and figure it out. That's not a huge design crime, right? I'm getting paid to be a designer, not a grammar guy, but you know, it's still good to figure that stuff out. Alright, these are looking nice. Be right back, taking a 5-minute break, currently offline. Alright. Yeah, that would suck. Yep. Alright, the next thing I need to do is I need to make the actual screen from where you guys will watch me. I need to make two of them, actually. I need to make one screen like this. Hey-o! And I need to make the other screen, which is like the one that we're using now. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a copywriter. The heck? Alright, so we'll take this guy here, we'll move him over here. Maybe I should move him a little bit more. Just redoing my guides here. Alright. So, what are you guys up to? You guys working on any projects lately? Anything cool going on in your guys' life? I don't know if I want to do my webcam as a square or not. I watched the design documentary Design Disruptors. I don't think I've heard of that one. Let me look it up. Design Disruptors. Oh, is that from Envision? I didn't know that they made a video. That's cool. Is it for free on their website? Get access. Huh, it looks like I can get it for free. Dude, that's awesome. Now I'm gonna go watch that. It's new, okay. So what do they kind of go over? I know Envision is like a mock-up website. This is mainly UI UX stuff, or is it kind of all fields of design? Yeah, give the details like your email address and stuff like that. Okay. They focus more on digital product design. Okay, yeah, Kind of figured that because that's what InVision's all about. InVision has come a long way since I started using it. I was introduced to it in my second year of design school, so 2016, and it was fairly... They didn't have the whole InVision Studio back then, and I still haven't really had a chance to deal with InVision Studio yet. It seems really cool, but I haven't done anything with it yet. Can't decide how I want to do this. I mean, like, part of me wants to just not do anything super crazy. Part of me just wants to just leave it as full screen and not even put any graphics over it. I think what I'm gonna do is I think I want to do a lot more stuff with this and be a little bit more creative with this portion of things, and maybe do some animations, because I could see like this being like the blue screen being my video camera, and then maybe like let's see. Just like a really quick mock-up of things. Like have something like this come out to begin with, and this be my video, or we'll just make it great if it look a little bit more of the value of a video. Something like that, and it kind of like pops out and then pops back in, so that way it's not saying Jonathan Beal the whole time I'm on this screen. Or maybe it does, I don't know. Is that a bad thing? Oh, you know what, that would actually be perfect, because look at this. So along with my portfolio book that I showed everybody, I also had like these little giveaways that I had. So this is like a little envelope. It's a 9x12 envelope, and I have my name as kind of like a label right here. Then I also have like my contact information wrapped around there on the back. So that would be kind of reminiscent of this, which would be cool. This part of the design would be for this. Actually, it would be for this screen right here. So you see how like I got the main sort of like intro screen. This is what I use the screen for. Is I use it for intros, and then I also use it for kind of like when I'm ending the stream. So that's what this would be for. This would be a picture of my face. So I'm thinking I might have to go into Photoshop for this part. Or if I just did this white. Got the background white and then my photo there. Or should I do the background as kind of like this tan, like it wouldn't be this, there would be an actual texture, but I'm using the craft paper. You know, you guys aren't even looking at me designing, are you? I want to use this sort of like craft paper texture, but in the background here. That'd be nice, just in case if there's anybody that I've given a business card to and they decide to find my stream, it's they're like surprised by the fact that it's all the same. I think this could look quite nice. So I'm gonna have to go into Photoshop and do this. I think what I might actually do is scan in one of these envelopes blank so I can get the actual texture. So I might do that tomorrow. So if you guys want to stick around, I'm actually gonna head off for the night. But if you guys want to stick around, make sure you guys like, or not like this video. You can like a video. Make sure you guys follow me if you guys like the stream, and I will be back tomorrow night. Hopefully tomorrow night. No, I'll be back Wednesday night. I'm going to a movie tomorrow. Gonna go see Deadpool 2, and I'll be back Wednesday night, and I'll finish doing this. I'll be doing the screen that you're seeing right now, as well as another version of the screen with me showing the screen. And I might do another one kind of in between where it shows my face a little bit bigger and then the screen minimized. I'm not sure about that yet. I don't know if I have a real need for that. But that's kind of what I have in store for the future stream, as well as all the little badges that you see down below that say like follow me on Twitter, about me, website, etc. So hey, thank you guys for all kind of showing up to the stream. We had a nice little turnout tonight. Got some activity going on in the chat, which is always nice. Thank you again to everyone that followed today. I think I got 4 or 5 followers today, and just been streaming for a little over 2 hours, so that's always nice. I need to set a goal. That's been said to me, which is important, that I need to set a goal. So I think I'll take advantage of the Streamlabs stuff too, and I'll have to incorporate that into my design somewhere, because I'm not doing anything with the chat or like a follower goal or anything. So I think I'll figure that out shortly. Yeah. Anyways, great stream. Thank you guys for everyone that stuck around since the beginning. I know it's been kind of a long stream tonight. Long stream in my mind. I know there's some people that stream the whole night or like the whole day. It's nuts. I don't know how people can do that. Anyways, thank you again. Oh, I feel bad for getting off right as we're getting all these viewers. Alright, well, thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys Wednesday night around the same time, 6:30, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And thanks again, and I will see you guys Wednesday.